In 1974, the average British housewife spent 11 minutes making lunch. Not because she did not care, because she had perfected it. A generation of women could turn a tin, a loaf, and last night's leftovers into something that kept a family running through the coldest afternoons. Today we spend £12 on a meal deal and call it progress. But here is the thing nobody admits. Number 14 on this list was the most popular midday meal in Britain for almost a decade. You will not find it in a single Pret. And number 7 was so simple, so cheap, and so effective that school dinner ladies used it to feed 400 children in under an hour. These 25 lunches were not fancy. They were not photogenic. But they worked. They fueled miners, factory workers, school children, and mothers who never sat down to eat until everyone else had finished. Before we start, hit that subscribe button because what you are about to hear might make you ring your nan this weekend. Let us count down the 25 forgotten British lunches from the 1970s. Number 25. Sandwich spread on white bread. That jar of Heinz sandwich spread sat in every fridge door throughout the 1970s. A strange, sweet, chunky paste of diced vegetables suspended in salad cream. Your mum would spread it thick on 2 slices of white mother's pride, press them together, and cut corner to corner. That was your packed lunch sorted in 45 seconds. A jar cost about 15 pence in 1974 and lasted the best part of a week. The taste was tangy, crunchy, and vaguely pickled. Children either loved it fiercely or despised it openly. There was no middle ground. The smell when you opened your lunchbox in the school hall was unmistakable: sweet vinegar and soft white bread. It needed nothing else. No lettuce, sometimes no butter, just spread and bread. Sandwich spread vanished from lunchboxes when wraps and hummus arrived. But for a generation, it was the taste of Tuesday at 12:30. Number 24. Cream of tomato soup with buttered soldiers. Heinz cream of tomato soup was not just a lunch, it was a ritual. Your mum would heat the tin in a saucepan, stirring slowly while cutting thick slices of white bread into soldiers, buttered generously while still warm. The soup arrived at the table in those heavy stoneware bowls, bright orange and steaming, with a swirl on top where the spoon had been. A tin cost about 9 pence in 1972. The whole meal, soup and 4 slices of bread, came in under 20 pence. On a rainy Saturday when you had been playing out all morning, nothing touched you quite like that first dip of buttered bread into the hot, sweet soup. It was the taste of being looked after, the taste of a kitchen with condensation running down the windows. Schools served it too, ladled from enormous pans into shallow bowls that burned your fingers. We have artisan soups now at £3 a carton, but none of them taste like coming home. Number 23. Corned beef and pickle sandwiches. Your dad's lunchbox smelled of this. 2 slices of thick white bread, a slab of corned beef from the blue Frey Bento's tin, and a heavy smear of Branston pickle. That was the working man's lunch across every building site, factory floor, and depot in Britain. Corned beef cost 28 pence a tin in 1975 and could stretch to 3 days of sandwiches. The trick was slicing it cold, straight from the fridge, so it held its shape. Too warm, and it crumbled into greasy pink shards. The Branston added crunch and sweetness that cut through the salty meat. Wrapped in greaseproof paper, sometimes cling film if your mum was modern, and stuffed into a metal lunchbox alongside an apple and a club biscuit. Millions of men ate this lunch 5 days a week without complaint. It was fuel, not cuisine, and it did its job. Number 22. Scotch eggs from the corner shop. Before Scotch eggs became a gastropub novelty at £4 each, They cost 12 pence from the local grocer and sat in a glass cabinet next to the pork pies. Your mum would buy 2 for Saturday lunch, slice them in half, and serve them with salad cream and a few leaves of round lettuce on the side. The sausage meat was thick and peppery, the egg inside slightly grey around the yolk where it had been cooked firm. Nobody wanted a runny Scotch egg in 1976. The breadcrumb coating had a satisfying crunch that shattered when you bit in. Children fought over the egg half with the most sausage meat. Mothers ate the leftover lettuce nobody else touched. That simple plate, half a Scotch egg, a dollop of salad cream, and bread and butter on the side, was a perfectly acceptable Saturday lunch in any household in Britain. Now they cost a fortune and come with chutney you did not ask for. Number 21st. Tinned spaghetti on toast. Heinz tinned spaghetti on toast was the emergency lunch that saved every household at least once a week. A tin cost 10 pence. Heat it in the saucepan, toast 2 slices of bread, pour the spaghetti on top. Done in 4 minutes. The sauce was sweet, bright orange, and nothing like any Italian would recognize. The spaghetti strands were soft enough to cut with a fork, which mattered because half the children eating this were under 5. Served on a plate with the toast going soggy underneath, it was the taste of being home from school with a cold, or the taste of mum being too busy to cook properly, or the taste of Wednesday. Nobody judged. Every kitchen had a stack of those tins in the cupboard, like ammunition. The empty orange tins ended up holding pencils, nails, or loose change on the windowsill. Tinned spaghetti has not changed. We have. Number 20. Cheese and onion crisp sandwiches. This was not laziness. This was engineering. 2 slices of buttered white bread, a packet of Golden Wonder cheese and onion crisps tipped in, pressed down firmly until you heard the crunch flatten, then cut in half. The butter stopped the crisps from making the bread dry. The crunch gave texture. The vinegary cheese flavoring gave punch. A packet cost about 5 pence, and the bread was already there. Your mum might have shaken her head, but she ate one too when nobody was looking. In school playgrounds across Britain, the crisp sandwich was currency. You could trade a cheese and onion crisp sandwich for almost anything. It required no preparation, no heating, and no washing up. The crisp sandwich was the people's lunch, and anyone who says they never had one is lying. Number 19. Ploughman's lunch at the pub. Before gastro menus, the pub ploughman's was Britain's answer to the continental lunch. A thick wedge of cheddar, a hunk of crusty bread, a pickled onion, a spoonful of Branston, and maybe a stick of celery if the landlord was generous. Served on a wooden board or a plain white plate, with no garnish and no apology. A ploughman's cost about 40 pence in 1973, cheap enough for a working man's dinner hour. The cheese was always cheddar, crumbly and sharp. The bread was always white or a cottage loaf, and the pickle was always Branston. No balsamic, no sourdough, no artisan chutney from a farmer's market, just honest ingredients on a plate. The ploughman's told you everything about the 1970s in one meal. Simple, filling, and completely unpretentious. First pattern break. Here is where it gets interesting. The Breville sandwich toaster arrived in British kitchens in 1974, and it changed lunch forever. That heavy, hinged machine with the diagonal seal turned ordinary bread and fillings into something that felt like a proper hot meal. Your mum would butter the outside of 2 slices of sunblest, fill them with baked beans and cheese, and clamp the lid down. 3 minutes later, you had a sealed, molten, triangular pocket of lunch that could take the roof of your mouth off if you bit in too soon. Every household learned that lesson once. The Breville was the great equalizer. Rich or poor, north or south, everyone had one, and everyone had a favorite filling. Beans and cheese, ham and tomato, tinned spaghetti and cheese, which leaked and welded itself to the plates until your mum soaked the whole thing in the washing-up bowl for an hour. Sales hit over 1 million units by 1976. The Breville did not just make lunch, it made lunch exciting. And then we forgot about it. Number 17. Egg mayonnaise sandwiches. Your mum boiled the eggs on Sunday, peeled them, and mashed them with Hellmann's and a crack of pepper. That bowl sat in the fridge covered with a saucer ready for Monday's packed lunch. 2 slices of brown bread if your family was health conscious, white if they were normal, filled with cold egg mayonnaise and cut into rectangles. The texture was creamy and cool. The taste was mild and inoffensive. It was the safest sandwich in Britain. Egg mayonnaise offended nobody, and that was its genius. It showed up at every church fete, every funeral tea, and every office desk across the decade. A dozen eggs cost about 30 pence in 1975. 1 bowl of egg mayo made lunches for 3 days. It was economy dressed in white bread and wrapped in cling film. We look down on it now, reaching for avocado and sriracha instead. But egg mayo did its duty without asking for praise. Number 16. Sardines on toast. Open the tin, drain it, and mash the sardines on hot buttered toast, with a squeeze of lemon if you had one, or just a shake of vinegar if you did not. That was lunch sorted for 12 pence. Sardines on toast was the lunch that appeared when the bread bin was nearly empty and the shopping had not been done. Your mum ate this standing at the kitchen counter, one eye on the clock, because she had places to be. The smell was strong enough to announce itself through the whole house. Children either developed a taste for it or staged a protest. But sardines were cheap, full of protein, and kept in the cupboard for months. The little flat tins with the key that rolled back the lid were a fixture of every pantry. Some mums added a sliced tomato on top. Some dads piled on malt vinegar until the toast went soggy. It was not pretty, but it was proper lunch. Number 15. Pork pie and salad. A proper pork pie from the butcher, not a supermarket version in a plastic shell, served with round lettuce, half a tomato, a few slices of cucumber, and a generous blob of salad cream. That was a 1970s lunch plate that appeared at kitchen tables across Britain every Saturday without fail. The pork pie cost about 20 pence from the local butcher. The jelly inside was the test. Real jelly, savory and rich, meant a proper pie. No jelly meant a cheap imitation. Children picked the pastry off first, ate the meat, and left the jelly on the side of the plate. Fathers ate the jelly deliberately, on principle. The salad was there for appearances, drowned in Heinz salad cream, which made even the limpest lettuce edible. This was not a recipe. It was an arrangement. And for years, it was perfectly good enough. Number 14. Beans on toast. The single most eaten lunch in the 1970s in Britain, and possibly the single most important meal in the history of the British working class. A tin of Heinz baked beans cost 9 pence. 2 slices of toast cost almost nothing. Together they made a hot, filling, protein-rich lunch in under 5 minutes. Beans on toast fed students, shift workers, pensioners, mothers, and children. It required no skill, no planning, and almost no washing up. The beans had to be heated properly, none of this microwave nonsense, stirred in a saucepan until they bubbled. The toast had to be buttered while still hot. And the beans had to go on top in a single pour, no arranging, no garnish. Just beans, toast, and a fork. It was democracy on a plate. The Queen could have eaten it. The milkman did eat it. And nobody needed to be told the recipe. Beans on toast was instinct. It was in the blood. And it still is, even if we pretend otherwise. The Tupperware revolution deserves its own moment here. In the early 1970s, Tupperware parties swept through British living rooms like a fever. Women gathered in each other's houses, drank coffee, and bought sealed plastic containers that promised to keep sandwiches fresh and biscuits crisp. By 1975, nearly every packed lunch in Britain travelled in a Tupperware box. That satisfying burp as the lid sealed meant your sandwiches arrived at school or the factory intact, not squashed at the bottom of a carrier bag. The containers were passed down, reused, and argued over. Losing a Tupperware lid was a household offense. The lunchbox industry owes everything to those living room demonstrations, and the women who saw, correctly, that a proper seal meant a proper lunch. Number 12. Cheese on toast with Worcestershire sauce. Grate cheddar onto toast. Shake Lee and Perrins. Worcestershire sauce over the top. Grill until bubbling. That was it. That was lunch, and it was magnificent. The Worcestershire sauce caramelized under the heat, turning the cheese dark and tangy at the edges, while the center stayed molten and stretchy. A block of cheddar cost about 25 pence. The Worcestershire sauce sat on every kitchen table already. The whole thing took 4 minutes, required 1 pan, and satisfied completely. This was the lunch your dad made when your mum was out. It was the lunch students lived on. It was the lunch that proved cooking did not need to be complicated to be brilliant. Some families added sliced tomato underneath the cheese, some added a dash of mustard. But the purists insisted on cheese, Worcestershire sauce, and nothing else. Number 11. Potted meat sandwiches. That small glass jar of Shipham's paste, whether fish or meat, was a packed lunch staple. It cost about 12 pence, and it lasted 3 days. Your mum would spread it thin on white bread, sometimes with a leaf of lettuce for show, and wrap the sandwich in grease-proof paper. The paste was salty, concentrated, and strong enough to flavor 2 slices from a single teaspoon. Shipham's came in flavors: chicken and ham, beef, crab. The jars were small, the lids were tight, and the taste was unmistakable. Children traded Shipham's sandwiches at school like currency. Crab paste was top tier. Beef was respectable. Bloater paste was for the brave. The jars ended up holding buttons, drawing pins, or screws in the shed. Shipham's has not disappeared entirely, but it has retreated to the bottom shelf where nobody looks. Number 10. Cold meat salad. Monday's lunch was built from Sunday's roast. Slices of cold beef, lamb, or pork were laid on a plate with pickled beetroot that stained everything purple. 2 boiled potatoes were cut in half. There was a spoonful of piccalilli and the inevitable round lettuce. No dressing beyond salad cream. No seasoning beyond salt and white pepper from the cruet set. This was economy in its purest form. The roast had already been paid for, so Monday's lunch was essentially free. Your mum arranged the plate with quiet pride because a well-laid cold plate showed you had managed the weekend joint properly. Nothing wasted. Everything accounted for. The beetroot juice running into the meat was a controversy in every household, but nobody ever solved it. You just accepted the purple beef and carried on. Number 9. Cheese and tomato sandwich. The simplest sandwich in Britain and arguably the most enduring. Sliced cheddar, sliced tomato, white bread, butter, and sometimes a shake of salt and pepper. That was it. This was the sandwich that filled every lunchbox that did not contain egg mayonnaise. The trick was slicing the tomato thin enough that it did not make the bread soggy by lunchtime. Your mum knew this. She would shake the seeds out over the sink, pat the slices with kitchen roll, then lay them on the cheese like she was tiling a bathroom. A cheese and tomato sandwich made at 7 in the morning needed to survive until 12:30 without falling apart. That required technique. The whole meal cost pennies, required no cooking, and has never been improved upon. Every fancy sandwich bar in London is just trying to be a cheese and tomato sandwich with better marketing. Number 8. Heinz tomato ketchup sandwiches. We need to talk about this. Bread, butter, ketchup. Nothing else. This was the lunch of last resort and the lunch of secret preference. Children ate ketchup sandwiches when the cupboard was bare and when the cupboard was full, because they genuinely liked them. The sweet vinegary tang of Heinz against soft white bread was a flavor combination that adults pretended not to understand, and children did not need explained. It cost almost nothing. It required no preparation. It was not nutritious by any measure. But it was real. It was eaten by millions. And pretending it did not happen does not make it go away. The ketchup sandwich was the honest truth of the 1970s lunchbox. Number 7. School dinner, mash, and mince. This was the lunch that fed Britain's children more consistently than any other meal in the decade. Dinner ladies in every school, from Inverness to Ipswich, served mince and mashed potatoes from stainless steel trays, ladled onto compartmented plates with a thud that echoed through the dinner hall. The mince was grey, swimming in thin gravy, studded with carrots and peas. The mash was smooth, pale, and made with powdered milk. A school dinner cost about 15 pence in 1975. 400 children were served in 45 minutes. The system ran like a military operation. You queued, you received, you sat, you ate, you cleared your tray. No choices, no alternatives. And somehow, despite every complaint, the taste of school dinner mince and mash stayed with you for the rest of your life. Number 6. Fish finger sandwiches. 4 birds, fish fingers, grilled until the breadcrumbs turned golden, laid between 2 slices of white bread with a squeeze of ketchup. That was a lunch so good it has never truly left us. Fish fingers cost 25 pence for a box of 10 in 1975. 2 sandwiches made from 4 fish fingers could feed a child completely. The crunch of the breadcrumb coating against the soft bread, the flaky white fish inside, the cold ketchup hitting the hot fingers. It was a combination that worked on every level. Some families used tartar sauce, some used salad cream. Purists insisted on ketchup and nothing else. The fish finger sandwich was classless. It appeared in council houses and detached semis alike. It required no skill, no planning, and delivered every single time. Number 5. Spam fritters. Sliced spam, dipped in batter and fried until golden. Served with chips or on bread, spam fritters were the chippy lunch that divided opinion but never lacked customers. A tin of spam cost about 30 pence. The batter was flour, water, and a pinch of salt. Fried in hot oil, the spam turned crispy outside and soft, salty, and pink inside. School canteens served them with mashed potato and beans. Chip shops sold them wrapped in newspaper alongside battered sausages and fish cakes. The taste was unmistakably processed, salty, and satisfying in a way that defied nutritional logic. Spam fritters disappeared when we decided processed meat was the enemy. But in the 1970s, they were honest, cheap, and exactly what a rainy Tuesday demanded. Number 4. Jacket potato with butter. The humble baked potato was the hot lunch that asked nothing of anyone. Scrub it, prick it, bake it in the oven for an hour, split it open, and fill the crater with a massive knob of butter and a pinch of salt. That was lunch. By the mid-1970s, jacket potato vans appeared on high streets and outside factories, selling baked potatoes with butter, cheese, or beans for about 20 pence. The smell of baking potato skin drifting from those vans could stop traffic. At home, your mum would start the potatoes before the morning school run and have them ready for when you came back at dinner time. The inside had to be fluffy. The skin had to be crisp. The butter had to be real, not margarine. Get those 3 things right, and you had a lunch that needed absolutely nothing else. Number 3. Pie and chips from the Chippy. Not a restaurant, not a pub. The Chippy. A meat and potato pie or a steak pie from behind the glass counter, served in paper with a pile of chips and doused in salt and vinegar. That was Friday lunch for half of working Britain. A pie and chips cost 30 pence in 1976. You ate it from the paper, standing up sometimes, or sitting on a wall outside the shop. The pie crust was golden and slightly greasy from the warmer. The chips were thick cut, soft in the middle, crispy at the edges. The vinegar soaked through the paper and made your fingers smell for the rest of the afternoon. Nobody cared about calories or saturated fat. It was Friday. You had earned this. The queue at the Chippy at 12:30 on a Friday was as British as the national anthem and considerably more popular. Number 2. Cup of soup and a roll. Bachelor's cup of soup launched in 1972 and immediately became the quickest lunch in Britain. Tear open the sachet, pour boiling water, stir, and it is done. Chicken, oxtail, tomato, or minced beef. Served with a buttered bread roll from the baker, it was a complete hot lunch for under 10 pence. Office workers kept boxes of cup of soup in desk drawers. Mothers drank it standing at the kitchen counter between chores. It was not real soup by any definition. The powder dissolved into a thin, salty, vaguely flavored liquid that bore no resemblance to anything homemade. But it was hot, it was instant, and it filled the gap between breakfast and tea without requiring a single pan. Cup of soup understood the 1970s. People were busy, kitchens were cold, and sometimes you just needed something warm in your hands for 5 minutes. And in first place, number 1, the chip butty. Chips from the fryer, white bread, butter. The holy trinity of British lunch in the 1970s. The chip butty was not just a meal. It was a statement of identity. It said you were practical, you were hungry, and you were not putting on airs. Your mum would fry chips in the chip pan, the blackened deep pan of oil that sat permanently on the back burner. She would pile them between 2 slices of buttered white bread, press down until the butter melted into the hot chips, and hand it over wrapped in kitchen paper. The first bite was always the best. Crunchy bread, soft chips, melted butter, and a haze of salt and vinegar steaming up from inside. Factory workers ate chip butties at their benches. Children ate them after school. Entire football crowds ate them on the terraces. A chip butty cost almost nothing to make, required no recipe, and delivered a level of satisfaction that no pulled pork brioche has ever matched. It was the lunch that defined a decade, a class, and a country. And if you have not had one lately, you have forgotten something important about yourself. There they are. 25 lunches that built the 1970s. Some of them are still with us, hiding in plain sight. Most have faded into the background, replaced by quinoa and subscription meal kits that cost more per portion than your mum spent on an entire week's lunches. Try one this week? Make beans on toast properly, in a saucepan. Build a crisp sandwich. Fry a chip butty. Then tell me in the comments which one took you straight back. Because these were not just lunches, they were the fuel that kept Britain moving, and your mum made them look easy.